Hello YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montez and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic, and welcome back to our YouTube channel everybody. I'm so excited to have you all back together again, and in today's video, we're going to be doing another bracket fight, because with the release of Trolls Band Together, the newly released Trolls film, the third film of the Trolls trilogy, we're going to be deciding what is the best Dreamworks animated film, and that's what we'll be discussing in this video today with our bracket fight. And let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Alright, so first up we got Antz versus Prince of Egypt. Now, personally for me, Antz, I'm not a massive fan of. I have talked about it multiple times on this channel before, I think. And I remember watching it, and I'm like, it has some cool things about it, but then it just kind of does some questionable things, like ants and war, these people cursing, like, it's just so weird. But then you get Prince of Egypt, and it's well made. It tells the story of Moses very well, it's emotional, it's impactful, and it feels like you went on a journey with characters. So for me, I'm choosing Prince of Egypt on this one. So that's the first one. Then we get The Road to El Dorado versus Chicken Run. For me, I think The Road to El Dorado is my least favorite Dreamworks film. Mainly because it's, like, the only good thing about it was the soundtrack and the animation. But besides that, the characters were bland. And so, I am starting to like a little bit of the edits that is made of this film because of the girl in the movie. Besides that, and also I did have a little toy, McDonald's toy, I think, from the movie of the villain. Besides that doesn't do much. But Chicken Run actually does a better job because it's a lot better. It's one of the first Dreamworks movies that is stop motion, and it tells a much better story. Granted, I haven't seen it in over 2 years, so I can't talk about it that much, but it is still a good movie, so I'm gonna choose Chicken Run. Then we have Shrek versus Spirit, Stallion, and the Cimarron. So what's kind of funny is, recently in my theater class, I was actually re-watching Shrek. Well, we were watching Shrek, but in my case, I was re-watching it. And we were basically doing an assignment that was based on comparing the movie to the musical, and even just rewatching it, it's great. I like that it's a spin on the fairy tales, but also it's being its own fairy tale on its own. So I think it just does really nicely because of that. And it just has all these fun characters and everything. The soundtrack is great. And it's just one of the most iconic films ever made. And then we get Spirit, which I think is very underrated. The animation is gorgeous, the music is great, and the story itself plays very nicely. So I really liked Spirit. So I'm going to choose, but I have to choose Shrek on this one because I think it's the more beloved film for me. And then for, up until we get to the other ones down below, we got Sinbad versus Shrek 2. Sinbad is a film that I thought was just so much fun. Like, there was just so much fun to be had with this movie. Like, I love the opening sequence with the action sequence and all the animation bits, and it's just a fun movie. But at the same time, it doesn't really know what it's trying to be. With Shrek 2, it's just the better film of the Shrek films. It's the better movie of the first two Shrek movies. Plus, it introduces my favorite character in Puss in Boots. So, naturally, it's going to be chosen over Sinbad. Alright, now let's go to the bottom of this. We got Shark Tale versus Madagascar. Oh no, wait. Oops, my bad. We got Shark Tale versus Madagascar. I'm actually going to go with Madagascar on this one. I think I don't technically love any of these movies, but Shark Tale has some stuff going for it, even though it's one I would actually rewatch way more. Madagascar actually has some stuff going for it with its fun characters and its fun story, but not necessarily great. We got Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Royal Rabbit versus Over the Hedge. Wallace and Gromit was actually a first-time watch for me, so I am actually going to choose Wallace and Gromit over the Hedge. And Over the Hedge is still fun, it's still good, but Wallace was just such a fresh, great new film that I honestly just absolutely loved. We got Flushed Away versus Shrek the Third. I'm actually going to choose Flushed Away on this one, mainly because it just did better with what it was trying to do and what it was trying to deliver. Shrek the Third, it's fun. I think the princesses were the best part about the movie. But at the same time, it's definitely not a good story, so I had to give it to Flushed Away, unfortunately. And then we get B-Movie versus Kung Fu Panda. Now, B-Movie, I don't hate like everybody else does, but I can admit its flaws, but there are some good stuff in it. There's definitely some inappropriate jokes that this movie makes that is quite shocking, especially with the bees and the cousins and everything. But it has a kind of cool story, because people stop taking honey from bees, it affects the world. That's an interesting concept. But whatever, we get Kung Fu Panda. I absolutely think this is an amazing film, a fantastic movie, one of my absolute favorite movies of all time, period. Great characters, great emotion, great stuff, and I'm choosing Kung Fu Panda over B-Movie. Alright, next up we got Madagascar 2 versus Monsters vs. Aliens. So, Madagascar 2, I think, is actually quite better than the first film, in the way that it just does so many different things from the characters. I like the African setting. I like learning about the backstory of Alex and where he came from. Monsters vs. Aliens, it's fine. I just think it's a little bit too awkward and not as much fun as Madagascar 2, so I'm choosing Madagascar 2. Alright, now we have How to Train Your Dragon versus Shrek Forever After. So, like Wallace, How to Train Your Dragon was another first watch for me, as I absolutely love this film, and I can definitely see why everybody loved it. It's a fun adventure of a boy having a secret relationship with a dragon, but the animation is quite great. The characters are pretty fun, and this is the proper way to do a Irish story with Irish, or what's it, Scottish music. Well, not Scottish music. This is the better version of what to do with a Scottish story with people in Vikings and whatnot. So I'm choosing How to Train Your Dragon. Even though I do love Shrek Forever After, I like the what if concept of it, but How to Train Your Dragon is the better movie in my opinion. Then we get Megamind versus Kung Fu Panda 2. And Megamind, while it is so rewatchable, I love the characters, I love all the action, and I like the story that it portrays. Kung Fu Panda 2 is the better movie for me because it does everything that the first film did, except much better. It has better action, you get more of the Furious 5. The villain is great, and you learn more about Poe's backstory. It also introduces a bunch of great new characters. So naturally, it is great. So you're going to go, I'm choosing Kung Fu Panda 2 over Megamind. Then we get Puss in Boots versus Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted. I think Puss in Boots is actually the better movie in my opinion, because it's a nice spin-off off of Shrek, and it introduces it uses the characters in interesting ways, whereas Madagascar 3, I think, is a fun adventure film that has a lot of nice action sequences. The circus and all the other characters you get to experience is fun, but at the same time, Puss in Boots does something better with world building and story, and you actually feel a lot more emotional with it, so I'm choosing Puss in Boots. Alright, let's get down to this bottom here, and this will be the closeout to this final round, this first round, with Rise of the Guardians versus the Croods. I'm choosing the Croods over this one. Rise of the Guardians is just kind of boring. It had some interesting concepts with bringing in all the mystical people, but it didn't really invest in me all that much. The Croods, however, invested in me just a little bit, and it had fun characters in this world. It was just fun to explore. Then we get Turbo versus Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Turbo, I just think is kind of a boring movie. I have it lower on my Dreamworks list, and I just think it's one of the more boring Dreamworks animated films. And then Mr. Peabody and Sherman, one of the most unique ones. Characters are great. It's a nice time travel story. The animation is fun, but it also just has a nice story about a boy and his father. It's great. So I'm choosing Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Then we get How to Train Your Dragon 2 versus Penguins of Madagascar. I think that How to Train Your Dragon 1 is a great sequel. Penguins of Madagascar, it just kind of, it's so dumb. So the big standout of this is the penguins. But I don't think they really work as main characters. So I'm choosing How to Train Your Dragon 2 because it does everything better than the first film. And it expands on that. Even though I don't really care if it goes darker. Then we get Home versus Kung Fu Panda 3. I like Kung Fu Panda 3 more. Home is a bit weird. But Kung Fu Panda 3, while not as good as the first two, it is still a great sequel to the original films. And yeah, that's the first round. That is the first round. And yeah. Alright, so now we're on to the next round. Round 2 with Trolls versus Boss Baby. These are two top tier Dreamworks films for me. As to which one I'm going to pick though, I'm actually going to go with the original Boss Baby. I love Trolls more than anything, but I have to choose Boss Baby because it's more rewatchable, it tells a better story, and it's more funny. Then we get Captain Underpants, the first epic movie, versus How to Train Your Dragon 3, The Hidden World. I actually really like Captain Underpants, but How to Train Your Dragon 3 is the more epic film. It expands on this world, and it's just a great conclusion to this trilogy. So I'm going to go How to Train Your Dragon. Then we get Abominable versus Trolls World Tour. I am actually going to pick Abominable over Trolls World Tour. Trolls World Tour is honestly one of the worst Dreamworks movies. It's one of the worst sequels, and it had no right for being that bad. Then we got the Croods A New Age versus Spirit Untamed. I'm actually going with the Croods 2. Spirit Untamed I actually liked, and it was kind of the big reason how I was able to watch most of these Dreamworks movies. But at the same time, it is not a great movie, but it is still fun. Alright, let's go down to the other movies that we have in this list. Oh, where is Trolls Band Together? Hold up, I'm gonna have to edit this real quick. I thought I had it in here. Give me 1 second. Okay, so why isn't it showing on there? Oh, never mind, it's there. Okay, well actually, I'll have to redo this again, shit. Hold on, okay, excuse my language. I'll just go through this one once more, just quick. Sorry. I guess I made a mistake on something. I don't know what happened. Hopefully this doesn't cut out, please. Alright, now we're on to the next two rounds. And we'll just finish from here because it's a long list, so I'll just do it from there. So we get Boss Baby 2 versus the Bad Guys. I'm actually choosing the Boss Baby because I really liked Boss Baby 2 and I thought it was a great sequel. The Bad Guys, it's It was good, but it could have been better, if I'm being honest. Then we get Puss in Boots: The Last Wish versus Ruby Gillman. Ruby Gillman was just kind of an odd movie to me. And Puss in Boots: The Last Wish was just great, so I'm putting that. And then finally we got Trolls Band Together, which it doesn't have anything to compete with, unfortunately, not yet. But as for my thoughts on it, I absolutely thought it was great. I thought it was the Trolls sequel that we actually needed, where it included the Bergens, but it also introduced us to all these other worlds and had a great story about family. And I like that. I like the storyline about Poppy having a secret sister, and that explores a whole bunch of interesting themes throughout the film. Is it better than the first Trolls? No. But it is still a great sequel, so naturally it goes right there. Alright, so we're just going to go through this whole deal. So, we got Prince of Egypt. We got Prince of Egypt versus Chicken Run. I'm choosing Chicken Run. We get Shrek versus Shrek 2. Shrek 2. We got Wallace and Gromit versus Madagascar. Wallace. We get Kung Fu Panda versus Flushed Away. Kung Fu Panda. We get Madagascar 2 versus How to Train Your Dragon. How to Train Your Dragon. Kung Fu Panda 2 versus Puss in Boots. Kung Fu Panda 2. Mr. Peabody and Sherman versus the Croods. Mr. Peabody and Sherman. How to Train Your Dragon 3 versus Kung Fu Panda 3. Yeah, How to Train Your Dragon 2 versus Kung Fu Panda 3. How to Train Your Dragon. And then we'll do this side again. Shrek 2 versus Prince of Egypt. Shrek 2. Wallace and Gromit versus Kung Fu Panda. Kung Fu Panda. How to Train Your Dragon versus Kung Fu Panda 2. Kung Fu Panda 2. Mr. Peabody and Sherman versus How to Train Your Dragon 2. Mr. Peabody and Sherman. And now we're going to go on to this side. Well, actually, no, wait. Hold up. Shrek 2 versus Kung Fu Panda. Kung Fu Panda. Mr. Peabody and Sherman versus Kung Fu Panda 2. Kung Fu Panda 2. Now we're on to this side. We're going to Kung Fu Panda 2 versus Kung Fu Panda. We got Kung Fu Panda. Alright. So now we're on to this side. We get Mr. Peabody, we got Boss Baby versus How to Train Your Dragon 3. Boss Baby. No question. Abominable versus Croods New Age. I'm actually going with Croods. Boss Baby 2 versus Puss in Boots 2. Going with Boss Baby 2, unfortunately. And then Trolls has nothing to compete with yet. Trolls 2 versus Boss Baby 2. Trolls 2. Boss Baby 2. Boss Baby versus Croods 2. Boss Baby. Trolls. And yeah, we basically have my favorite Dreamworks film competing with the newest Dreamworks movie. And which one is better, Kung Fu Panda or Trolls Band Together? I am choosing Kung Fu Panda. It is my favorite. Kung Fu Panda is my favorite Dreamworks movie. And that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you can't do a bracket in the comments, but leave me down your list or what are your favorite Dreamworks movies, and what are your thoughts on Trolls Band Together? Let me know your thoughts all down below in the comment section below. And all my social media stuff is in the back section up there. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.